Am I the a-hole for not helping my sister reconnect with her son, telling her that she abandoned him 20 years ago? When my 40 female sister of 43 was 23, she got pregnant with my son to a deadbeat that left her after he found out she was pregnant. The moment I held him in my arms, I fell in love with him. My sister, however, was indifferent to him. In the beginning, my parents said she was going through PPD. But as time went on, it became obvious that she wasn't, and she just didn't want to be a mother. She asked my parents to take him, but due to our dad's health at the time, they couldn't. She threatened to put him in the system, so I said I would take him. Once he was legally mine, my sister went low contact with us and moved to another country. Over the years when she did contact us, she never once asked how my son was doing. My son knows the truth about me not being his biological mother. I never hid it from him. My sister recently returned home. She showed up at my house, and we had a good catch-up. And then she asked how my son was doing, and I told her he was doing good at school. She asked for his number, and I said I will have to ask him if it was okay, since he's particular with who has his personal number. She got upset with me and told me she was his mother. I said a mother that abandoned him 20 years ago. I kicked her out after she started screaming at me. I rang my son and told him what happened. He asked for a number, so I gave it. He told her to get lost, and that it wants nothing to do with her. She went to social media and posted how I stole her son and turned him against her. I got backlash from my family, but I don't care what they have to say about me. I do care how my son is getting heat from them as well, and making me think I shouldn't have said that to her. Am I the a-hole? Now for the top comments. Not the a-hole, and you are exactly right. You should never give out your son's personal info to anyone without his consent. And she did abandon him. She doesn't get to waltz back in to try and play happy family now, unless your son wants that. It's okay to give a child up for adoption, but you don't get to turn around and say they stole your child from you, and get your flying monkeys to attack them. Your family sounds like a toxic mess. I would block them all. Next time someone comments, OP should bring out the how dare yous. How dare you try to intercede on behalf of the woman who abandoned her child? How dare you criticize that child for not wanting to pretend sister is his mother? How dare sister claim to be the child's mother? Keep going with both barrels until the other person shrunk to about the size of a penny. Where was she when he needed his diaper changed? Took his first steps. First day of school, admitted to his first crush. Had his first heartbreak. Moved out of the home and out into the world. All those birthdays. How many did she actually say happy birthday for? Holidays. The good times and the bad? Being a mother isn't just a section on a birth certificate. It's the experience of raising someone through thick and thin. Not the a-hole. She doesn't get to play the mom card when she abandoned him. I'm not going to say that there aren't good reasons sometimes that a parent isn't suited to raise a child, having them too young, having drug issues, etc. But if that happens, they have to earn their way back into the child's life. She should be down on the floor begging you and her son to join his life. Next story. Am I the a-hole for not making my daughter give up her room to my stepdaughter and grandchild? I, 37 male, have been married to my wife, Sadie, 37, for 4 years. I have a daughter, Chloe, of my own from my previous marriage, age 9. Sadie has a daughter, Ace, 19, from an ex. Ace hasn't really been in our lives often, as she lived with her grandparents her whole life because the state took her from Sadie when Ace was 7. We still saw her on holidays and try to reach out. Ace was living out of state with her boyfriend, but he was recently arrested. So she asked if she and her baby could move in with us, as she needed help getting back on her feet. My wife and I spoke about it and agreed. When I brought up the extra bedroom in the attic, which is an area in the attic we made into a spare room for guests many years ago and no one uses the attic anyways, my wife became upset, gasped even, and said she was not making her daughter with a 5-month-old baby sleep in the dirty attic. I said obviously we would clean and prepare it, and where else did she suggest she sleep? Which is when she told me Chloe's bedroom would be perfect. Chloe's bedroom is very large and across the hall from the bathroom, which Sadie said was perfect. I told her Chloe would not be giving up her bedroom she'd been living in since before I even met her. She got upset and started to plead and said that this could make up for the year's loss and proved she really loved her and that she was wanted. I basically told her no, she could prove that another way, that we wouldn't give up the bedroom. She got angry and said a 9-year-old does not need all that space, and I was picking favorites and not even thinking of the bigger picture. Ace would need more room. It'd be hard for her to go up and down the stairs with a baby, etc. I stuck to my answer and my wife slammed the door and went for a drive. Today she tried convincing me again and I wouldn't give in, and we got into another argument. Am I the a-hole? Not the a-hole at all. You most definitely should not displace your daughter from her bedroom to make room for Ace. Having a 19-year-old stranger and her baby move in is going to be more than enough of a change for your daughter. Your wife can find some other way to make up for the years of loss without kicking your daughter out of her bedroom. Sadie has already proven that Ace is wanted by taking in her and her baby. As for the stairs, women safely carry babies/children up and down stairs every day. Info: do you know why Ace was removed from Sadie's care? She was deemed unfit. She had drug and alcohol problems. And you, a person with a young daughter, thought it was a good idea to marry someone who not only had their own child taken away, but never earned that child back? She clearly doesn't care about her stepdaughter, ready to throw her out of the only bedroom she's known. She's not a good mom to anyone. Not the a-hole. Not the a-hole. Your wife is trying to make it up to her daughter by penalizing yours. The fact that a dirty attic isn't good enough for her child but is good enough for yours is atrocious. I'm going to be mean here. Sadie was a young mother, but Sadie had a state take her child when she was in her mid-20s. I know there's a lot of stories of unfairness, but they do not take a child away from their adult parent for no reason. At best, she's been an absent mother. I know she's tried to reach out, but she doesn't have a parental relationship with Ace. Staying strong here is important, not just because it's not fair, but because Sadie has already destroyed one parent-child relationship. Now she's going to destroy two more, hers and yours with Chloe, to try and salvage the ruined one. Ace is now also a young mother. She needs support, the support that I'm guessing Sadie didn't get. Ace has had a tough draw growing up, but she's also made some poor decisions, and it's great that the two of you are going to support her. But she gets the support that is available. I'm not blaming her for any of this. This is all on Sadie. Chloe's room is not an available resource. He'll spend money and time and effort helping her. Chloe's going to go through a massive upheaval, bringing two new humans into her home, both strangers, one an infant. Having some stability and privacy is key. She needs that room, possibly more than Ace does. You need to find out what Sadie's promising Ace. You need to find out what Ace thinks she's in for. And you need to make it clear to Sadie that Chloe's just as important as you and Sadie in house decisions, because it's her home too. Ace will be with you temporarily, as long as she really is just getting back on her feet. She isn't the guest, but she's not a decision maker either. Sadie needs help dealing with whatever's going on in her head. Whether it's guilt, whether it's thinking that her family's more important than yours, whether it's thinking that having a baby means you're entitled to preferential treatment, whether she's trying to cope with her own past by giving Ace what she didn't get herself. But Sadie needs to deal with what is available before she destroys another family. Next story. Am I the a-hole for telling my sister she's too old to act like a teenager? My 17 male oldest sister is 37 female. Despite being almost 40, she often acts like she's still a teenager. Lives with our parents, is unemployed, and has been living off their money since she dropped out of college after one semester. Spends her time hooking up with guys on Tinder and crying to me about being ghosted or led on, and getting drunk and coming home hangover. She even used a lot of TikTok lingo people my age use, like girl's girl. Altogether, it's a bit cringe. Pathetic? I realize that life happens at different paces for different people, but to me, being almost 40, never having worked a day in your life, and mooching off your parents for almost 20 years, and chasing after and crying about boys like you're a teenager, is just sad. Quite a few people by that age are settled and stable on their lives. And sure, life happens, but not even trying is just odd to me. The other day, she was telling me about how one of her friends wasn't a girl's girl because she slept with a guy my sister had an eye on and she feels depressed. This annoyed me, so I told her, "You're not 18. You haven't been 18 for almost 20 years. You're a grown woman at an age a lot of people have families and careers. Crying about a hookup, it's sad, and you're too old to be acting this way." She got angry and called me a judgmental a-hole. I do judge her, but I think it's a valid judgment. Am I the a-hole? Now for the comments. Info. 17 male, 37 female, lives with our parents, is unemployed and has been living off their money since she dropped out of college after one semester. Does a little quick math. Are you sure that she's actually your sister? I doubt it's we're raising your mother as your sister's situation, if that's what you're indicating. The timeline wouldn't match up unless I'm actually 2 years older than I think I am. Plus, we have other siblings closer in age to her that I don't think would keep that secret from me. How so? I'm a 37-year-old male with a 17-year-old son. It's not impossible to be 37 and have a 17-year-old. I think he's saying that she dropped out at 18 and not 20, meaning the timing of everything together doesn't match what he's been told. It's physically possible that 37-year-old could have a 17-year-old child if they had said child at 20. But if she dropped out of college at 18, then this wouldn't be the reason. Or OP doesn't know the true details. Not the a-hole. Unless she has some sort of disability, this is ridiculous. She does not, as far as I know. Perfectly able-bodied and actually quite smart. Just childish. Not the a-hole. Someone needs to tell her, especially if she is not disabled. Why are your parents allowing this? It's really an extreme age to be still at home and not working to help out at least. They had her very young and were too poor to spoil her when she was little, so they're probably making up for it now. If very young and poor, who knows what kind of trauma your sister endured as a result. Early childhood trauma is the leading cause of borderline personality disorder, and this post kinda screams it. Possibly, but she's an adult. She's had time to deal with her trauma if she has it. Instead, choosing to mooch off our parents in a way that f***s me over is up. Next story. Am I the a-hole for paying $21K to send my kid to private school behind my ex-wife's back? Our son is 8 and has an incredible curiosity about the world. His first and second grade teachers gave nothing but glowing praise in regards to both his intellectual growth and his demeanor. However, his third year has not gone well. His teacher has sent us several emails stating that our son does not pay attention in class and is cold towards his classmates. When his mother and I ask him how school is going, he tells us he hates it. He said, all the teacher does is yell at the class to stop talking, that the kids keep talking and we never do anything, and I hate being there. I can see the light fading from his eyes every day, and every Sunday night mid-September on he cries because he doesn't want to go to school. My son lives with his mother and spends weekends with me. We all live in the same town, and I would describe the relationship between his mother and I as cooperative, but bad feelings persist. I asked my son a few weeks ago if he wanted to change schools, and he responded, God, yes. I asked his mother if she would have any issue with me sending him to a highly regarded private school about 17 miles from our town, and she reacted in a way that was not expected. She said I was being ridiculous, and that it would be an undue burden to her to take him to a different school, which is fair, and it would be unfair to her other children if only one of her kids got to go to private school. I added that I would take him and drop him off every day and pay for it 100%, and she still said no. I told her I don't want our son to waste his potential, nor do I want to fail him as a father. In essence, she responded that our son is just being a brat because he's bored. I registered him at the school and paid the tuition. He starts in August. I told him what I had done, and he was elated. Naturally, upon hearing this news, his mother was apoplectic. All I said was, fine, you tell him he isn't going because you think he's a brat. Am I the a-hole? Now for the comments. Info. Her other kids are not yours, right? Correct. Then not the a-hole. She's not a good mom if she's willing to hurt your son just in the name of fairness. Half siblings whose non-shared parents have different means get treated differently. That's just how life works. Besides, if your wife is currently with her other kid's father, then it's also not fair that your son has divorced parents while his siblings don't. Courts may not look favorably on you enrolling him without his mom's permission. I'm not sure, but I do think you might want to try for more custody. It really wouldn't surprise me if your son starts getting treated as the black sheep in that household, especially as time goes on and the siblings get older. Fair does not mean equal. I'm a teacher. The goal is that each child gets what they need. They don't all need the same thing. Kids don't get that, but their parents should. Last story. Am I the a-hole for kicking out my sister-in-law after she lost my son while babysitting? Over the past 3 months, my husband's sister has been staying with us until she got back on her feet. As part of her contribution to our household, she generously offered to babysit our kids, including our 3-year-old son with autism and with both delayed speech and language, without expecting any compensation. However, about 3 weeks ago while she was babysitting, our son managed to slip out of the front door without her awareness, wandering around for approximately half an hour before a concerned individual alerted the police. Rather than immediately notifying my husband and I about the situation, she spent an hour searching the neighborhood before involving law enforcement. We only became aware of our son's disappearance after she had already found out that the police had picked him up and safely returned him home. There's uncertainty regarding whether she would have informed us if the police had not explicitly instructed her to do so. In the aftermath, I asked her to leave our home. My husband believes that my decision to kick her out was overly severe, labeling it as an honest mistake that could happen to anyone. He also emphasizes her lack of alternative living arrangements, arguing that it was unjust to leave her without nowhere else to go. She put my son's safety at risk and broke my trust, and I can't get over that. But I can't shake what my husband said. Now I feel terrible about putting her on the street. Am I the a-hole? Not the a-hole. An honest mistake initially, yes. Kids can be slippery little devils. The big mistake was not calling you. Spinning her wheels searching for an hour, then hearing the police thankfully had him. And when she was going to call you? Has she even apologized? Doesn't sound like it. She's staying with you to get back on her feet. So she's an adult. This isn't some 19-year-old being an idiot. She should have known better. And since she doesn't know, she cannot be relied upon and deserves banishment. Right. After 10 minutes of not being able to find him, I have a kid. They're definitely slippery. She should have called the parents. 15 minutes is all it took for my nephew to open the door stripped naked and get halfway down the block. Yes, he got naked outside. They added a chain after that since he had to undo 2 locks to get outside. Your son could have died. Also, many states make parents who lose their children take parenting classes and have strikes against that can cause them to lose their children. This is a serious issue, and she should not be trusted with her child. OP not the a-hole. I would 1000% kick her out. Hard times or not. Your son could have been seriously injured or worse. Your husband is not taking it seriously enough.